So last season we got promoted to the National League, and a few of you thought that it was a bit too soon. I even thought that. Let's see how we actually managed to get on in the Vanarama National League for season 7. Season 7. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the end of season 7. I believe we're on now. The 2029-2030 season. We're at the season review. I'm not going to tell you any more than that. We are in the National League, remember? We were 700 to 1 to go down. Apparently it was going straight to the new arrivals, but it didn't. But here is the league table. As you can see, a season to remember. We finished 14th, 16 wins, 10 draws, 20 losses. I am extremely happy with this. Extremely happy. I think, I was expecting a lot harder season than what we had. We had some drummings in there. There was a couple of times where we got absolutely smashed. But overall, we had a really good season. We had a little mid-season run here, sort of around the November, October sort of time. We started off relatively well with 3 wins in our first 6 games. Is that 7 games? First 7 games, we got 3 wins. And then you can see we're just very inconsistent all season. And once we got to around, I think it was this game. I think it was a Solihull Moors game. I sort of thought, okay, we'll start playing the younger players, the players that are perhaps going to come into the team sometime next season that could do a job, because we're going to have some players leave. I can't help it. We've got about 4 players that are looking to leave. Connell Dick is one of them, and so is the goalkeeper, Ollie Freuert. They're not... Ollie Freuert's leaving because he doesn't believe he's good. We're good enough for him, which is fair enough. I mean, he's got Swansea and I think Reading and Watford looking at him. So when you've got those sort of teams looking at you, you're not going to stay at lowly Truro, are you? But Connell Dick has played his face about game time, and so has a couple of others. So they're all going to leave. So I've had to basically bring in some players in preempting their leaving. You know what I mean? Preempting them leaving. So this run of games here towards the end of the season, that was played with the new players. The team was completely rotated, and this was played with the second stringer, so to speak. So the 5-0 drumming. In fact, I'll show you. You can see that it is not our main team. You can see here, Stuart Walker is the only first teamer in that starting 11. Richie Andrews is not. Alex Mullen actually is. We'll talk about Alex Mullen in a bit. Graham Newton, Laughlin, Clarkson, Josh Martin, Josh Brown, Thomas Sager, McGrath Colbert, and to Sample. None of them are players that are first team players. None of them at all. But they're all being blooded, ready for next season. So that was the idea. But we had a very good November and October, which is what set us up for the season, really. So we finished 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Going down are Solihull Moors. Morecambe have done the double relegation. Boston United and Hampton and Richmond have gone down as well. The playoffs are still yet to be played, but Stevenage have run out as champions, and I think they demolished us early in the season. They really put us to the sword. Oh no, we had a 0-0 there. I'm sure they battered us in one of the games. Yeah, 5-1. So a 5-1 defeat. And then we smashed South Shields. And that was a rotated team against South Shields as well. And we got a 5-1 win in the next game. So, what a weird season this was. Moments to remember. So, the biggest win was the 5-1 over Truro. The match to remember was the 2-1 over Scunthorpe. Although I don't know why that was a match to remember, in all honesty. It's just a generic match, in my opinion. Maybe it's the fact that Scunthorpe have got maybe a higher reputation than the rest of the teams in this league. I don't know. But the goal of the season came in the Harrogate game, where Jeremy Muller scores a goal. That's it. Jeremy Muller is now a first-team player as well, playing on that. He doesn't play in the defensive part. He plays in the supporting role. But he is now a first-team player. So we'll have a look at this. Goal of the season by Jeremy Muller when it eventually loads. Here it comes. You can see the ball comes out to Shido here. He plays it across to Muller, who hits it first time into the bottom corner. In fact, there was a better goal scored than that. I can't remember which game it was in, but it came third in the goal of the month. So I don't think that was goal of the season, in all honesty. Finances wise, I'll be honest, things are looking dreadful. It is dreadful. The finances at this club. We are just hemorrhaging money bad. We need to get another promotion. I can't see us getting another promotion. We've had a lot more match day income, so that's really helped us this season. But I am worried for the finances of this club at the moment. Like, if I wished Ollie Froy was on a longer contract with these teams interested in him, because I'd be able to sell him for some money. And he was worth quite a bit at the start of the season. I mean, even now, with only a few weeks left on his contract, he's still worth potentially up to 60k. 60k is a lot of money to me down in the lower league. So, the accolades. We won nothing this year in terms of manager awards. Fans Player of the Season was yet again Lewis Rooney. I mean, he's got a contract for next season as well. I didn't realise I gave him a 2-year contract. So he has got a contract for next season, which is superb. Brad Park got Young Player of the Season. Again, what can we say? Brad Park is a superb player. Goal of the Season to Jeremy Muller, who we already know about. Top goal scorer was Lewis Rooney again, by 2 goals. There is another player that hit 20 goals, and his name is Mr. Stuart Walker here. Admittedly, he hit 5 goals in 1 game. But Stuart Walker has been a revelation this season, and going that 2 up top in the 4-2-4 definitely made a difference. Toshido, most assists. Lewis Rooney with 4 player of the match. His highest average rating was Lewis Rooney. 7.0 gives you an idea of how up and down our season was. Most passes completed per 90 was Anton Brownlee. Yes, Anton is still here. And obviously, there was a couple of records broke. So the most league goals for Truro, Lewis Rooney holds with 216. He is also our oldest player to ever play for this club. And he is also our oldest goal scorer for the club. So, quite a few records broken this season. So if we have a look at the history in the making, Truro flew out the traps and set themselves up well for the season. And basically, it's good to get off to a good start. And we did have a really good start. So this is all 2023. And this is going into this season. Here we are. We went up there. And you can see we haven't really done anything this season. We invested in a couple of youngsters. I will show you them shortly. And yeah, we just had... we had a couple of losses in a row, but we managed to stay up. And staying up was the main thing. That was the massive thing, because going back down would have been awful. It would have been a massive, massive issue if we'd have gone down. So, we carry on. Wow, the Truro side of 2023. Simeon is still playing. Unbelievable. I did not expect him to still be playing. Although 10 members of that team are now retired, the rest continue to be involved in football. Ollie Bryce, Lewis Rooney, Anton, and Connor Dick are still with the club. Niall Lyons plays there, and the other players are all now retired. Will Dean should never have left. Retired at 26 was a travesty. Absolute travesty. He'd still be playing now if he played for us still. But that's what you get, Will Dean. So, next season, what do they want from us? They want us to sign players. We're going to try and negotiate that out. And we'll suggest that. Okay, we're happy with that. Repair the club's financial damage. I mean, that's going to be hard to do. Grow the club's reputation. The only way we're going to grow the club's reputation is by continuing to stay in this league or getting promoted. But how we're going to repair the club's financial damage, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at the moment, because even the budgets have dropped. So I'm going to tell them we're going to battle hard against relegation again. That's what we're going to tell them. So, like I said, finances-wise, we're hemorrhaging money. As you can see, we're 359,000 in debt, and it is projected to continue and to get worse and worse and worse as things carry on. There's not much I can do about it. You can see by the finances, we had a wage budget of 26,000 this year. I've barely used any of it, and we've got a wage budget of 18,000 next year. So the wage budget is slowly decreasing, which is not a good sign. So hopefully we can keep ourselves above water. We don't have any decent youth prospects coming through, really. If we have a look at the players that are marked Y30, here's one of them, Chris Smith, a goalkeeper. Potentially could do the job, but I don't think he's ever going to overtake Ollie Fryer, and Hassan is ahead of him at the moment. So, but he is a Van Rama North-South player, so he is going to be the backup to Hassan at this rate. Who else have we got? Sean Manning. Who are you? Have you come in this season? You've come in this season and I haven't given you a nickname. Okay, so I've got to give Sean Manning a nickname because apparently I've missed him. What were we on? Y 30 A B C D E F G. I think you're going to be. So we have Kwaku Brewster. He could potentially be a decent player. Like, he's a striker. We're getting low on strikers. Obviously, Lewis Rooney will be leaving soon as well. Kwaku Brewster, 5'10" striker, could potentially do a role for us in the future. He is very brave. He's got a high work rate. He looks to be a decent pressing forward. Could do with some work on his acceleration and pace. But overall, at 16 years old, he could potentially move into being a pressing forward. And we are going to start training him on the pressing forward role. So hopefully in the next couple of seasons, he will be decent for us. We also have Christos. This is our first Cypriot coming from Cyprus. A defensive winger on the right. Do I think he's going to make it? I'm not sure. But he's got a decent right foot, reasonable left foot. Could play anywhere in all honesty, looking at his stats. So I'm tempted to actually play him on the left side of midfield over here. But if needs be, he will play as an inverted winger on this side. I know they like to use their left foot, but sometimes you just have to go with what you've got. Paul Bowker, he's an Australian, playing on the left back. He has decent crossing. He's very much more of an attacking threat than he is. Well, I was saying that until I saw his position in a 10. So he is very much more defensive. Even though he's got 8 crossing, his stats are really weird. I'm not sure about Paul. Gideon Ngoy was the other elite talent. We had 2 elite talents. The first one was the Cypriot. The second one is this lad from the Congolese. Oh, again, another one that I'm not really sure. Is he going to be a centre-back? Is he going to be a full-back on support? Not really sure which way I'm going to go with him. His concentration's a little bit low for me to say, yes, he's going to be a centre-back. So, but then he's not very quick, and I worry that with him not being very quick, he's going to struggle against faster players. So again, don't know. Shane Brennan is the last one from this year. Looks relatively quick. He can dribble. He has some flair. He has teamwork. Has no positioning, so possibly will be going into more of a striker position. Just to negate that positioning, because even though he is attacking in the attacking midfield here, he will need to track back. And with that one positioning and 7 work rate, I don't think he's going to do that. He has no strength. He's 5'8". This is a problem we're having with a lot of our players. They're all low on their height. They're all really short. They're all inconsistent. They have no intelligence. It's a common thing. But the one thing that Brennan has is he is relatively quick. Why is it took me back? I double clicked. So that is the youth intake. So it wasn't superb. We have training regimes where things haven't really happened. Have we had no under-18s matches? Have these guys not played any matches? They have played matches. So why have I got no scout report? No reports on him. Where's... Oh, hang on. I think I know what it is. Staff-wise. Yeah, that's what it is. So I can't get any of this because... Oh, yeah, I can't get any of this because we don't have any recruitment analysts or performance analysts or anything like that. Wilson was playing for us. He made 3 starts, 8 sub-appearances in the National League this year. And then he goes and signs a contract to leave. So he's joining another club at the end of the season, which is fair enough. Off you go, mate. Under 21s wise, all these lads will probably leave. None of them are probably going to make it. So you can see 3 of them are already out of contract. So if we go to the main squad itself and we'll go through the tactics. So this is the tactic we've been using, the same tactic as last season. Hassan, he will become our first choice goalkeeper as Ollie is pretty much going to leave. He's exploring options at the end of his contract, and Reading and Watford want him. Swansea look like they've pulled out. So Hassan is going to step up to be the main man, as Ollie Bryce is now also leaving on a free. He won't change his mind either. Connell Dick is leaving on a free. He won't change his mind. Josh Martin has broken into the team. He's not in the first team, but he has made some appearances. You can see he's made 15 appearances, 5 sub-starts. Hasn't had the best rating, but again, he's not built for this league. So, but I've just noticed his potential has dropped now as well. So, understandable. I didn't think he was going to be good enough anyway, but he has got into it. We'll talk about Alex Mullen in a minute. Toshido just hasn't developed. You can see he's just up and down. He just hasn't really developed. So he's faltering a little bit. So there's a good chance that I may look to replace him in the future. Rooney is still banging in the goals. Stuart Walker has banged in 20 goals in all competitions, 18 in the league, 1 in the FA Cup, 1 in the FA Trophy. A 17 XG overall, and he scored 18. So he's actually doing better than his XG, albeit only by 1 goal. And he's had 15 clearances, apparently. Whether that's an important stat for you. 8 assists. So he has had 29 goal contributions this season. I am very happy with the numbers he has put out, especially after last season's 8 and 6. He definitely looks like a player that is going to continue developing. And if we look at his development graph, he has dropped, but he has been injured in the last couple of months. He has had an injury. As you can see, he's still holding the injury now. So he has developed, but he hasn't developed as much as I'd have liked. Brad Park is still the same Brad Park we've always known. Absolutely superb. He's flatlined. I don't think he's gonna get any better, really. He's gonna become a leading Vanarama National, apparently. So we have to keep this man no matter what. He is contracted for another 2 years. Jeremy Muller, also contracted for another 2 years, has developed really well, I believe, if we go to his progress. Yet, developed relatively well. He is continuing to hold down that defensive midfield spot. If we put the first teamer back in the left back spot, which is Leighton Sneap, he looks like he's actually got worse, but I can assure you he is still every bit as good a player as what he was. It's just the fact that Ollie Fryer has basically gotten above and beyond all these players. So, unfortunately, it makes Leighton look a little bit worse, but he is now playing on that left back spot and he has held it down all season. Philip Murray is looking really good, 4-star current ability. He's holding down that centre back role on this in the team. Decent balance, jumping reach. He is pretty much nailed down starter. I am very happy with his progress. Anton Brownlee is also looking very good. While not being anywhere near as good as Philip Murray overall, he has done a very good job. 6.8 this season, 34 appearances. He has played incredibly well. Corby has been riddled with injuries, but he has still managed to achieve 29 appearances. But he has riddled with injuries this season. As you can see, he's had quite a few injuries over the course of this season. 4 injuries in total. So he hasn't played as much as I'd have liked him to have played, and I think that has hampered his development ever so slightly. As you can see, he's had a little drop off again. But overall, he has improved. So I am still very happy with his progress. He will remain my first choice right back. And then we get to Alex Mullen. Alex Mullen at the start of the season was not in this team. He was nowhere near this team. Nowhere near. And I think one of the players got injured. I think Ewan was injured and Kevin was also out. So I gave this man a go, and he just flew up. His star rating flew up. His ability flew up. He started the season down here as a 2.5 star. Apparently, he is not. He was even lower than that. I'm sure he was, and he's finished it up here as a 3 star. But honestly, 3.5 star. He has done absolute bits. You can see he's got 8 goals, 3 assists, 6.7 average rating. He has stepped up when we needed somebody to step up. He was that player. He came in, he did a job. He's gone back. He's just that player that we needed. McGrath Colbert still hasn't really progressed that much, but obviously 19 appearances. He's not going to progress as much as some of the others. And you can see he had a really good progression, and then he's dropped back down, and he's back down to 1.5. So, time is running out for McGrath Colbert, but we'll see how he gets on next season. Connell Dick is leaving. Unfortunately, he's only made 5 appearances. There's just nowhere to put him in the squad. Unfortunately, Jack Johnson is now starting to look a little bit worse than he did before. I'm hoping that he could reach his potential, but looking at it, he's not going to. He is going to be here for next season, but he probably will not be here the season after. And the only reason he's still here is that he still has a potential to be decent in the league below, which means that if we do get relegated, we still have a player here that is on relatively cheap wages and can still do the job. And even so, in his 7 appearances, he had 3 assists. Bearing in mind, 6 of those were off the bench, and he still managed a 7.12. Maybe I should have given this lad more chances, but there are other players better ahead of him. Maybe he comes in for Toshido next season. Chaz will leave at the end of this season. He has had 1 appearance and 1 sub. Never going to get in the team. Moving on, Josh Brown has played a few games, 7 appearances, 7 starts, 4 sub appearances. Has not really played that well, but isn't good enough for this league anyway. But he has improved, and he will continue to improve as time goes on. Hopefully, he will eventually get to that to the promised land of playing, not all the time, but at least as backup properly. Sam Meacham, again, not really played much. He is contracted for another season, but you can see by his potential, he's never going to make it. Kevin Clarkson, again, not really played much this season. His potential has dropped now, and he is looking less and less likely that he's going to make it here. I actually believe he is leaving next season. Thomas Sager, again, has played a few games, 10 appearances in total. Very much pushed out by Josh a little bit, but he's still holding that potential, so there's still room for him to get into the team, although he will never be a first team. Alexander Laughlin has played a lot more than I was expecting him to this season. Played really well. His development has looked decent. His progress is going on the up all the time. As you can see, those last couple of games where I played the second string, you see it's affected him and helped him grow in his ability ever so slightly. So while I don't think he'll ever overtake these two, he'll definitely give us a backup option. Casey Spetch has finally made it to the first team. I was looking around and I saw obviously 2 players wanted to leave from this position. That means we need a backup. Now, Casey Spetch does not look the man. He does not look brilliant. But he's always put in a decent shift at non-competitive. Every season he's been here, he's put a decent shift in at non-competitive. As you can see, 7.23, 7.32, 7.19, 7.28, 7.7. So, I think it's only fair that Casey Spetch gets his chance. So he is in playing backup for Alex Mullen this season. Well, next season. He played 5 games, I think 3 games. Did relatively well, got an assist in it. 6.678, 6.7 average rating. He will be playing on this side, and I think he can do a job, but will probably not be a long-term replacement to these two. Ewan is going, he was not very happy. He is basically just completely dropped off the face with everything, so he can go. I'm not bothered about him leaving. And same with Kevin Stewart. They can both go if they're going to play up and try and be silly buggers when Alex Mullen stepped up and overtook both of them. Then, as far as I'm concerned, they can leave. Look, he's just miles better than both of them. So he will stay and them two can go. And Casey Spetch will get his chance. Up top, obviously, we've still got Rooney and Walker. And we also have Richie Andrews playing. Richie Andrews, again, I think he needs game time. He's made 6 appearances so far this season. He couldn't get in the team ahead of Lewis Rooney or ahead of Stuart Walker. Unfortunately, he is only 5. He is 5'10". Who is it that's 5'8"? I think it was Jack Johnson. But I keep getting these youth players mixed up. But Richie Andrews, I think, if he gets game time next season, which he should do, considering he is the only backup at this moment, and when we look at our under-18s, barring the new lad that's come in, where is he? The new lad that's come in, Sean, who does not look ready in any sense. Barring Sean and Kwaku, that was it. Kwaku Brewster. Kwaku Brewster's not quick enough, but he is playing. He's going to become this pressing forward. So I think Kwaku will be called up prematurely to the side, and him along with Richie Andrews will be the backups to Rooney and Stewart. Graham Newton is the final player to go through on first team. He has had some games, 16 total appearances, 6.41 average rating. Not really set the world alight. You can see his development's going well, so I am happy with that. His progress is slowly ebbing up. So he is playing back up to Toshido. I am wondering whether it is worth actually swapping them to next season. But obviously with Toshido still having this high potential and being slightly better. It's just all this sort of stuff. The off-the-ball flair, determination, pace, acceleration. It just makes a massive difference in non-league. Even if he is inconsistent. So I think we're going to stick with Toshido next season. But there is a very good chance that Graham's going to come into it. When we're talking about Toshido, his brother, where is he? Timothy, is developing rather nicely. I think there is I would say he's developing nicely. He's not developing at all, but you can see by his stats he's slowly edging up. He's 18 years old now. He will be playing. I think I've trained him for that defensive midfield spot, but that's purely down to the fact that he's got no pace, no acceleration, and he is relatively the same as he is going forward. Do I think he's going to make it to the team? I'm not sure. I'm no longer sure with him. I'm hoping he will, but it's looking more and more unlikely as things go on. Andy Evans may eventually make it to the team as well. He has been developing relatively well. You can see 36 appearances, 6.99 average rating, so I am very happy with him. He's somebody that comes up quite often. Thomas, again, is also looking very, very decent. I like this very strong and fairly strong left and right foot. He's good with both feet. His consistency is awful, which is a concern, but he may find himself in the first team next season or around the first team next season. And there was another player that came up that I am interested in. Was it Danny Roberts? Yes, Danny Roberts. 1 star, 4-star potential. Looking like he could potentially do a job. He is 6'4", so imagine that, a 6'4" player in the non-league. That is superb. Exactly what we need. Sam Wood was also one of the players that keeps getting brought up. Playing on that left-hand side. Again, another left winger. Decent work rate, decent acceleration pace. He could do a job. Again, he may be around the first team next season. Under 21s wise, all these guys are going. I believe at the end of the season, none of them are going to be good enough. So I'm just going to let them go and I'm not going to worry about it. So, yeah, we're having a bit of a... What's the right word? It's not like a complete rebuild, but we are losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. And 2 of them being decent goalkeepers. So Hassan really has to step up now. Now, for those that remember Hassan, a couple of seasons ago, he did a unbelievable thing in one of the games where he came up nearly to the halfway line and he got dubbed as the non-league Neuer by myself. So it worries me that he is going to be our first choice next season. I'm hoping for an insane growth pattern off him. But I am going to play him as a goalkeeper. I'm not going to play him as his sweeper keeper because I do not want him messing about going too far forward. He is 20 years old. But the thing he has over both Ollie Fryer and Ollie Price is that he is consistent. You know what I mean? These two have inconsistency issues. Hassan is consistent. Has a very good consistency. So I'm hoping with that consistency plus any growth he makes, I'm hoping he's going to become a really, really good player for us. He is capped at under 18 level, so he has a massive potential. So with that in mind, let's see if we can get him on a longer contract. Because that would be massive. And it does look like he will accept a longer contract. So we have him for 2 years. So we're not going to accidentally lose him like we have done with Ollie Fryer. And I'm probably going to go through the rest of the first team and just tie down everyone that's contract is expiring in 31 before we cross over into next season where they all start doing basically what where is he? Ollie Fryer's done, where he's basically not even considering joining us. Like if I go into, he's just not interested. So unfortunately, we are going to lose both Ollie Fryer and Ollie Bryce, but it is finally time for Hassan to to do the business. I can't wait to see it. Oh, it's either going to have me in nerves every game or it's going to be absolutely superb. I can't decide which one it's going to be. But I think we have had a very, very good season. I know there was a comment that on the last video that basically said that this could potentially be too soon. And I agreed with that comment. And to an extent, I still do. Even though we've had a very good season, I think next season is going to be a lot harder. We're going to have a lot worse quality of players. Luckily, the first team isn't changing too much. But the supporting team around it is changing. And not changing for the better at the moment. And also, we've got to remember that this is definitely going to be Lewis Rooney's last season. And we are going to lose our talisman striker. Which means we've got to think now, once we start getting sight towards the back end of next season, and if we look safe, it's going to be a case of, okay, we're safe. Now we need to look at blooding a striker to take over from Rooney. Because eventually it's going to happen. Eventually we have to bite the bullet and Rooney has to go. He has played 42 times this season, scored 21 goals, assisted 4 times. He is a Truro legend at this point. This is the highest he's ever played and he's doing it. In fact, no, it's not. He's played at League 2. He's played 2 games at League 2. And he has played in the Northern Ireland Premier Division as well. But we have to consider life after Rooney next season. Towards the back end of next season. Life after Rooney. So we have to look at these players, these Richie Andrew. We have to look at Stuart Walker. We have to look at, is there another one here? The lad that's just come through the youth intake. That can play up top. Brewster. We have to look at getting one of these, Sonny Precious maybe, or Shane, or someone like that playing. Sean rather, playing striker because we need to start this. Basically, the end of this season, we need to start looking at this striker situation because we're going to run out and we're going to be left with really short players. Stuart Walker's not short, not tall. You know what I mean? He's 5'10". And Richie Andrews, 5'10". They're not the tallest players. They're not the quickest players. Oh, it's going to be horrible when we lose Rooney. But Rooney is it is official now as well. Officially, Rooney is the last starting 11 player that was here at the start. Ollie Bryce will leave at the end of this season. So, Rooney will be the final player from the original Truro team still here next season. And he will leave at the end of next season no matter what. I will not be giving him a contract at the end of next season. because we have to move on eventually. Lewis Rooney is not getting any younger, and he has given 10 years to Truro, over 10 years, 11 years, 11 seasons to Truro. We have to let him go at some point. And I'm hoping he's going to start thinking about... he's still not talking about it. I'm hoping next season he's going to come up with plans to become a what's it called? A coach. I really hope. His brother has already retired, and I am one of his favourite personnel. I hope he has got a Continental C license, so he is starting to think about it. We have to keep that in mind. It is definitely not in his plans though. He's definitely not thinking about anything. So I am nervous for life after him, but that is something to worry about at the end of next season. That is going to wrap up this season though. So if you have enjoyed it, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next Sunday for the Truro Season 8 episode. I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and an absolutely beautiful New Year. Have a good one, guys. See you all soon.